So how do you use this thing? What does it even do? How do you let it write for you and not let it steal your soul? How do you even get started? That is what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, and welcome to Business Boot Camp. I'm Christy, Wright, bestselling author, certified business coach, keynote speaker, but most of all, your bossy big sister, here to give you the practical steps you want and the tough love truth you need to succeed. Let's dive in. I'm going to give you a basic introduction to ChatGPT. Have you ever traveled to a foreign country and they obviously serve different cuisine in this foreign country, and you're sitting down at a table, maybe it's someone's home, maybe it's a restaurant, and there is some weird food. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you've ever been in a foreign country, then you for sure have come in contact with some weird foods. And you're sitting there and you're looking at this, you're like, I don't know what this is. It looks weird. It smells weird. Everyone at the table, everyone from this country is eating this food. They love it. Like, I don't know what to do with this. Should I try it? This looks kind of scary. Am I going to regret it? Is this some animal I've never even heard of that I don't really want to put in my body? I don't want to be disrespectful, but like, what is going on with this food? And I've noticed that probably there are three types of people that handle this situation, okay? The first type are the adventurous ones, right? They're like, oh yeah, they get their fork, they dive right in, like can't wait to try something new. Don't even care what it is. You don't even have to tell me what's in it. I don't know. Don't care. I just can't wait to try. They love the adventure of this. The second type are the cautious ones. They're like, I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm going to take my fork and like kind of poke at it, maybe just dab it and just taste it a little bit. Then you've got the third type that are like, no, thank you. No, I don't know what that is. I don't like how that smells. I don't like what the texture is. I don't know what kind of animal that is. I don't know what's in it. No, thank you. I'll pass. I'll just not eat today. Thank you so much, right? This is kind of a picture of how three different types of people would approach a weird food in a foreign country. And you know what? We kind of handle ChatGPT the same way, y'all. Like this new thing has come on the scene in the business world, and you've got those same three types of people. You've got the people that are all in, you're using it for your business, you love it, you use it for everything. You've got the second group that are kind of cautious, like, I don't know, I guess I'll try it. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing. And then you got the third group that are like, it's the devil. It's the actual devil. It's going to steal your soul. Don't even open that URL because you're going to hell. If you use ChatGPT, we have these extremes. And I think that because it is so controversial, it's so new, it's so many different unknowns about it, I just wanted to take this episode to unpack it for you. So what is it? Like, is this the devil, or is it going to be the thing that we give all of our writing to and we never have to write again? Neither. It's a tool. That's it. It's a tool that can help you in your business. And it actually makes a really great tool, y'all. ChatGPT makes a terrible ghostwriter, but a great assistant. A ghostwriter is someone that writes everything for you. Okay. They do all of the writing completely themselves. You don't want to do that. You don't want to completely farm all this out to a robot, artificial intelligence, but it makes a great assistant. Now, I want to go ahead and acknowledge up front that even if you have the perfect prompts, you know exactly what to type in to get exactly the best response from this machine, from this tool, you still need to remember this is a tool. It's a robot. It's not a person, which means it has no soul. It has no insight. It does not know your story. It cannot come up with sayings or phrases that sound just like you that are an inside joke between you and your audience. It cannot do that. Now, can God still use a robot tool? Yeah, of course. God can use anything, y'all. But keep in mind as you're using this, that this is not God-inspired writing. This is artificial intelligence that is responding based on the prompts that you put in. Now, you got to hold that delicately, y'all. God can use it. And also keep in mind, it's still a robot. So you're not going to farm this out entirely. You're not going to give all of your writing to ChatGPT or any other AI. I would not recommend you completely hand off all of your writing to these tools. But don't throw them out entirely either. Don't dismiss them just because they're new and you're uncomfortable with it and you're not sure how to use it. Don't dig your head in the sand and just hope it goes away where you are just hard-headed writing every single piece of content over here by yourself, making the work so much harder on you. So let's talk about how it can help you. some things that it does really, really well. I have found that ChatGPT is amazing at brainstorming. When the well is running dry and you're out of ideas and you're not feeling inspired and you're not feeling creative and you're staring at a blank page, hop over to ChatGPT, put in some prompts of what you need, and it will get your wheels turning. You could hop over there. Let's say, for example, you're trying to name a new workshop that you've got coming up and you don't have a name for it. And you're just out of ideas. Nothing is coming. You could go into ChatGPT and plug in, give me 10 names for a workshop on money management. And it will spit out 10 names. And then you could say, give me 10 more, give me 10 more. You could do this all day. What that's going to do, aside from potentially naming it for you, if you like one of those names that sounds like you, that's on brand, that's accurate to what the workshop content is going to be, aside from that, it gets your juices flowing, y'all. It's like this brainstorming buddy. You don't have any ideas, it gives you some ideas, then you spring off of those ideas. That's how creativity works, y'all. It just breeds more creativity. So if you can't start the creativity yourself because you're having an off day, it can jumpstart it for you. Most likely, you'll get those 10 ideas. You're like, oh, or I could say this. Oh, take this word, but then add this word in. It's a great brainstorming tool. It's a great brainstorming buddy. It's also really incredible for vocabulary. If you're just running out of powerful words and you're like, this workshop is amazing. It's just amazing. Come to my amazing workshop. We're going to have an amazing time and I'm going to teach you amazing things. And you just keep saying amazing. And you're like, I need more words than amazing. I'm running out of ideas. This is getting redundant and it's not exciting and they're not powerful. Go into ChatGPT and say, write me some marketing copy for my workshop on money management. And it will spit out all types of marketing copy that you can pick and choose what you want to use. Maybe you take the whole paragraph and mildly edit it to be in your voice. Maybe you use it exactly, but more than likely, you're going to have to edit it to make it sound like you while it's learning your voice and you're learning how much of it you want to actually use. Maybe you just take a couple sentences, but maybe you just pick some words. You're like, oh, astounding. I want to use that word instead. So you pull out astounding and you put it in place of the amazing that you were using. It's a great tool for expanding and increasing your vocabulary, especially when you put out a lot of content. Believe it or not, us content creators can actually run out of words sometimes. We're tired and we start to question ourselves. Did I say that in that podcast? Did I put that in that reel? Have I already said that? Did I send that email last week or is that the email going next week? We've got a lot of content going a lot of places and it's hard to keep it straight and it's really easy to repeat yourself. ChatGPT can give you more variety to the phrases you normally use, to the words you normally choose, and it can just expand your vocabulary. So it makes a great brainstorming buddy. It makes a great assistant when it comes to expanding your vocabulary and giving you more options for words, phrases, sentences, and so on. But I have found that it is by far the most helpful when it comes to marketing copy. ChatGPT writes some really good marketing copy. Now, will it still write words that don't sound like you and phrases that are too weird, too long, too run on, too like used car salesman, like ba-dum, and you're like, I would never say that. That doesn't sound like me. Yes, it still will. It still will. You still have to edit, but it's really, really effective at writing marketing copy for you. So if you have a lot of marketing copy in your business, whether that's landing pages or marketing emails, this can be a great tool that you begin to lean on to write those first drafts for you. And that's exactly how I use it in my business. I go to ChatGPT and I write first drafts in ChatGPT. And then I take that, I add my personality, my voice, my stories, my specific examples that are inside jokes between me and my audience. ChatGPT doesn't know that an inside joke between me and my audience is Legally Blonde or Taylor Swift or Talking Too Much or anything from Ramsey. Like ChatGPT wouldn't know that. But I can put some of those phrases and some of those words into it after ChatGPT has given me this first draft that just gives me a jumping off point. And let me tell you, if you are starting with the first draft that you are editing and just adding to, it is way less time, effort, energy, and work than starting from scratch, than staring at a blank page with a blinking cursor, especially in those days when the well is dry and you just don't know where to start. So I have found it's the most effective with marketing copy, but you can use it for truly anything. It's not limited to marketing copy. I've just found it's really strong with marketing copy. Use it like a thesaurus. If you use it that way, you'll never run out of ideas. You're constantly having this tool feed you ideas that you can take, mix and match, add to, or use exactly as they come through. One important thing to keep in mind is you can actually give ChatGPT feedback. You can correct it and let it know what you would prefer different about the results. So for example, let's say you're typing into the prompt box, write me an email launching my new course for speakers. Write me an email launching my new course for speakers called Stop Winging It. And it spits out this email instantly. But the email just sounds kind of vanilla. It just sounds bland. It doesn't have any personality. You can actually respond and say, give me that email again, but in a snarky tone, or in a funny tone, or in a serious tone, or in a formal tone. You can use tone, voice, and so on. You can tell it with adjectives the tone or style that you would prefer, and it will do that. It will give you another email in a snarky tone or a serious tone or a formal tone. And you can then help it understand the type of tone that you have. Now, I typically use the word snarky. It seems to understand snarky well. So I type in, write me this email in a snarky tone. Snarky typically means sarcastic. So it's funny, but a little sassy, a little bit sarcastic, which is definitely my humor style. So it will give me these results, but y'all, I still have to edit it. I'm still taking that result, and then I'm going in and changing some of the references that don't make any sense or don't sound like me, and I'm adding my references. But it gives you so much more to work with. The amount of work that you're putting in is so much less because you have so much to start with. Let me give you an example. So I was speaking last fall in Texas to this big conference of business leaders, and my keynote presentation was on professional communication. It was on speaking, but it wasn't my normal speaking keynote. It was more around speaking in the office environment, in the business world. And so I was like, I need a new title for my talk, and I just couldn't think of it. I'd run through ideas. I tried some of my old ideas. I tried using, excerpts from my talk, but nothing was right. So I went to ChatGPT and I typed in, give me titles for a keynote presentation on professional communication. And it spit out 10, and I didn't really like any of those. And I was like, give me 10 more. And it spit out 10, and there was pieces of different titles that I liked. One of the titles, the actual headline, was Words That Work. I was like, ooh, I like that. Words That Work. I was like, okay, I'm going to take that. But then it had a subtitle or a subhead of a different option that said how to increase your impact for professional communicators. And I was like, ooh, I like increase your impact. So I took Words That Work as my headline, as my title of my talk. And I took a piece of the subhead of another option and I put it together where my final title was Words That Work, How to Change Your Message to Increase Your Impact. So that was my title and my subtitle for that presentation. But it started by picking and choosing what I liked from the ChatGPT results. So you can pick and choose, you can mix and match, you can make it your own, but it's an incredible tool that's going to feed you ideas when you're running out of ideas. So let's talk about how to get started. Like, how do you even use this tool? I'm going to break it down really simple because it is so easy to do, y'all. Open your internet browser and type in chat.openai.com. And what's going to open is a screen where you set up an account. It's very basic, your name, your email, just a few pieces of information that you put in. And whenever you register for your account, you're going to see a screen. And the screen is very, very plain. On the left-hand side, there's going to be a black bar, which are your recent searches, which you won't have any because you've got a new account. And in the bottom, there's a bar. The bar at the bottom, like a chat bar that you're used to if you've ever chatted with customer service, this is where you type in your prompts. And so you just get started. At first, you're going to feel a little nervous, y'all. You're going to be like, what can I ask it? Do I say please and thank you? Like, do I need good manners? I don't know. Like, you're kind of not sure how to start. You're like, if I ask it for an email, is it going to know what I mean? Like, do I need to really explain to it what an email is? No, y'all. It knows what an email is. It knows what a podcast is. It knows the difference between a marketing email and a content email. It knows how to write a podcast episode for you. It knows how to write a course for you. You will be amazed. There's that word again. You'll be amazed at what it can do for you, but you just get started. So try something. What is a content need that you have right now? Type it in. Give me titles for, write an email for, write a podcast episode for. Just give it some basic information and watch what happens. You will be blown away at how quick the results come up, how good they are, and how much you have to work with. So go to chat.openai.com www.openai.com, set up an account, and start putting in prompts. As you put in prompts, it will save them on that left black bar. And every time you log in, you'll still have those that you can refer to if you need them in the future. It's saving those searches. I'm going to warn you, once you try it, it's a little addictive. You're like, oh, okay, let me try this. Oh, can you also write my next course for me? Okay, ChatGPT, you want to write my next book for me? Here you go. Okay, can you tell me this, smarty pants? Did my son brush his teeth this morning? I don't know. Are you psychic? Tell me what you got. It's a little addictive, but it's also fun. You now have this incredible tool and this incredible resource to feed you ideas, to jumpstart your brainstorming, and to help lessen the work. Let's be honest, y'all. You got enough work on you, don't you? I know you pride yourself in your writing. I know your content is your heart and your soul and your story, and ChatGPT can never and will never take that away from you. Your heart and your story and your voice is still you. This is just a tool to supplement that, to complement it, to get you started, to get those creative juices flowing, to get you going in the right direction, to take a little bit of the heavy lifting and heavy load off of you. Of course, you and I both know the best ideas are God ideas. A robot can never replace the divine insight that you have as a child of God with the Holy Spirit living in you. So I'll give you a very real example of this. So about 6 to 8 months ago, I was creating a workshop actually in celebration of launch of my course, Stop Winging It. It was all happening in the fall. And so I needed a name for my workshop. And it was going to be on business, but it was also going to lead into speaking. And I wasn't really sure how to come up with a name for this workshop about business that wasn't just really bland, like business success, business practices, business, I don't know what, right? Like it was like, I was not feeling creative. Well, I went to ChatGPT and I typed in, give me titles for a workshop on business. And everything that came up was so generic. It was vanilla. It didn't sound like me. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't funny. And I tried again and again and again, and nothing was coming. And so in true Christy fashion, as a last resort, I'm not proud to say, I prayed about it. I was like, Lord, I need a name. I need a name for this workshop. I don't have any names. The robot has no names. Help me out. And I heard in my head, back to business boot camp. Back to business boot camp. Instantly, I knew that not only was that the name of my workshop, but I knew what it meant. It meant I'm back to business. I hadn't taught or coached or trained in business in over a year. And so the cleverness of back to business had a double meaning for my audience. It wasn't just back to business for them to get back to business, down to business, get back in business. It wasn't just for them. It had a double meaning of I'm back to business. I've been out of it for almost 2 years. Since I left Ramsey, I'm back to business. It was this wink to my audience from the business boutique days, from the brand that I built for years and had this huge audience. It was an inside joke. It was this moment with them. God came up with that. Not ChatGPT, not me. God came up with that. Artificial intelligence, a robot would never know my story of working for this organization for 12 years, leaving the business world and now coming back into the business world. It would never know that. It could never know that. So how did I get my name for my workshop in the fall? God gave me that name, not me and not ChatGPT. You know, it's not unlike the story of how God named Business Boutique, in fact. We couldn't come up with a name for that. And Dave Ramsey kept calling it boutique business. And I knew it wasn't boutique business, but I didn't know what it was. And I felt the Lord say, flip it. It's not boutique business. It's business boutique. You're the place that people come for all things business. God knows and cares about the details of our lives and our businesses, believe it or not. So yes, all the best ideas are God ideas. You can and should pray, and don't do like me, pray before it's a last result. You can and should pray when you really need an idea for something or a solution for something or a name for something. But outside of those mountaintop moments or those really special projects or those really big deals where you're at a dead end and you really need God's help, outside of that, using artificial intelligence as a thesaurus or assistant or brainstorming buddy is not a bad idea. In fact, it's a really good idea. You don't have to be scared of the weird food, y'all. Just try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. But if you do, it could save you tons of time, money, and energy, which means you can make even more of an impact in your customers, in your business, and yes, even your life. All right, y'all. That's it for this week's episode of Business Bootcamp. Thank you so much for joining me. And be sure to follow this podcast channel so you never miss a new episode. And please share this episode on Instagram and Facebook so that other people can get the help that they need as well. And then tune in here next week for another new episode of Business Bootcamp. I'll see you then.